Hello everybody, welcome to Legal Talks by Desi Kanoon. I am Suyash and I am excited to have started this show. Now on today's show, we will talk about reliability of dying declarations, the important judicial precedents connected with it and the rule of caution. Now before moving further, we must first understand what is the meaning of dying declaration. Now, Indian laws do not provide a definition of dying declaration, but the same could be understood by perusing a law dictionary. Black's Law Dictionary defines dying declaration as a statement by a person who believes that death is imminent or is relating to the cause or circumstances of the person's impending death. The statement is admissible in evidence as an exception to the hearsay rule. So, in short, it is a statement by a person who believes that he is going to die, or while the person is on a deathbed, that person talks about the cause or the circumstances of his death. Now, what is the relevant provision of law in this regard? Section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act 1872 is pertinent. Now, it talks about statements, written or verbal, of relevant facts made by a person who is dead or who cannot be found or who has become incapable of giving evidence or whose attendance cannot be procured by the court. Now, those statements are considered to be relevant facts in the following cases. Now, the relevant portion for us is section 32, subsection 1, which states that a statement is relevant when it relates to cause of death. When the statement is made by a person as to the cause of his death or as to any of the circumstances of the transaction which resulted in his death, in cases in which the cause of that person's death comes into question. So it is, in short, the same thing that we discussed in relation to the meaning of the dying declaration. Basically, it is a statement which is made by a person in relation to the cause of his death or as to any of the circumstances of the transaction which resulted in his death. So those statements are covered under section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act. Now let us move on to the question of reliability of dying declaration. Now this could only be understood by reading about the important judicial precedents. The first judicial precedent that we will talk about is K. Ramachandra Reddy versus Public Prosecutor. In this case, it was said that once the court is satisfied that the dying declaration is true and voluntary, it can be sufficient to found the conviction even without any further corroboration. So, if a dying declaration is found to be true and voluntary, then it is sufficient enough to convict a person even if there is no corroborating evidence. This was said in this case. Now, let us move on to the other case, that is Kushal Rao versus State of Bombay. It is a 1958 judgment, and in this judgment, some very important points relating to reliability of dying declaration were given. The first important point is that dying declarations can form the sole basis of conviction. The court said that there cannot be an absolute rule of law that a dying declaration cannot form the sole basis of conviction unless it is corroborated, and that it is a weaker kind of evidence. So, even if there is a sole dying declaration and there is no other piece of evidence, but if the dying declaration is reliable, then that can form the basis of conviction. Secondly, this case says that each case is to be judged on its own merits and circumstances. It cannot be a rule that dying declaration alone can form the basis of conviction. It has to depend on the facts and circumstances of each case. Now, thirdly, the court said that dying declaration stands on the same footing as another piece of evidence and has to be judged in light of the circumstances. So, What the court is trying to say is that dying declaration is not a weak form of evidence, it is just like any other piece of evidence, and it has to be judged by the court in light of the facts and circumstances. Now, fourthly, the court said that a dying declaration which has been recorded by a competent magistrate in the proper manner, that is to say, in the form of questions and answers, and as far as practicable, in the words of the maker of the declaration, stands on a much higher footing than a dying declaration which depends upon oral testimony, which may suffer from all the infirmities of human memory and human character. Here, the court is trying to differentiate between a written dying declaration and a oral dying declaration, and that too a written dying declaration which has been recorded by a competent person, that is, a competent magistrate, in the proper manner. So, that will have a much higher evidentiary value than a oral dying declaration. Now, fifthly and lastly, the court said that the circumstances like the opportunity of the dying man for observation, whether the statement has been consistent throughout, if he had several opportunities of making dying declaration apart from the official record of it, and whether the statement had been made at the earliest opportunity and was not the result of tutoring by interested parties, have to be kept in mind while testing the reliability of a dying declaration. So, just because a dying declaration is recorded in a proper manner by a competent magistrate, that alone is not sufficient. The court has also court also has to look into the fact that whether the dying declaration is based on proper record, and whether the person who is observing his death is making correct observations or not, or is not the result of tutoring by interested parties. Now, the next case in this regard is Tapinder Singh versus State of Punjab. Now, in this case, it was said by the court that it is true that dying declaration is not a deposition in court, and it is neither made on oath nor in the presence of the accused. It is therefore not tested by cross examination on behalf of the accused. But a dying declaration is admitted in evidence by way of an exception to the general rule against the admissibility of hearsay evidence, that is, on the principle of necessity. The weak points of a dying declaration just mentioned merely serve to put the court on its guard while testing its reliability, by imposing on it an obligation to closely scrutinize all the relevant attendant circumstances. So, what the court here is trying to say is that dying declaration is an exception to the general rule against the admissibility of hearsay evidence. At the end of the day, dying declaration is nothing but hearsay evidence, because a person who is on the verge of his death is making some statements. Now, how reliable are those statements? That has to be judged by the court, and that has to be closely scrutinized by the court considering all the relevant circumstances. Now, there are few other cases in this regard. Lallu Bhai Devchand Shah versus State of Gujarat. In this case, the court said that any person who records dying declaration must be satisfied that the deceased was in a fit state of mind. So, for example, if a magistrate is recording a dying declaration, he must be satisfied that the deceased is in a fit state of mind. He is in a position to speak, he is in a position to recollect all the affairs that have happened to him or her. Now, the next case is Kundula Bala Subramaniam versus State of UP. Now, in this case, the court said that a dying declaration made by the person on the verge of his death has a special sanctity, as at that solemn moment, a person is most unlikely to make any untrue statement. This is a very important factor. A person who is on the verge of his death is not likely to make any false statements, and such a dying declaration by itself can be sufficient for recording conviction even without looking for any corroboration. We saw in earlier cases as well that dying declaration can be the sole basis for conviction if it is found to be reliable enough by the courts. Now, this case also talks about the contingency where there are more than one dying declaration. So the court says that if there are more than one dying declarations, then the court has also to scrutinize all the dying declarations to find out if each one of these passes the test of being trustworthy. So the court has to look into all the facts and circumstances. If there are more than one dying declarations, then the court has to scrutinize all of them and the court has to harmoniously construe all of them. Now, we need to understand what is the rule of caution. Courts have iterated that rule of caution must be exercised in order to test the veracity and reliability of dying declarations. Now, what is this rule of caution? This rule of caution has not been codified here anywhere, but has only been judicially expounded by the courts. So, the first case in this regard is Govindappa versus State of Karnataka. Now, in this case, the court said that what the court needs to look into is that whether the deceased was in a fit state of mind or not, and the person who recorded the dying declaration must be satisfied that the deceased was in a fit state of mind. The certification by the doctor is essentially a rule of caution, and therefore the voluntary and truthful nature of the declaration can be established otherwise. So, if a doctor is certifying that the person is in a fit state of mind, that adds an added layer to the veracity or the reliability of the dying declaration. So, it is essentially a rule of caution that is exercised by the courts. The courts look into the fact that whether a dying declaration has been certified by the doctor or not. Now, the next case in this regard is Sher Singh versus State of Punjab. In this case, the court said that the dying declaration must not be a result of tutoring or prompting or a product of imagination. We have seen that many times the witnesses are forced to record something which is not true or forced to record something which they do not believe is to be true. So, this should not be the case. What is essential is that the person recording the dying declaration, he must be satisfied that the deceased was in a fit state of mind. And again, the court reiterated the same thing, that a certificate by the doctor is essentially a rule of caution, and therefore the voluntary and truthful nature of a statement can be established otherwise. Now, suppose a person is recording his dying declaration, but the doctor thinks that that person is not in a fit state of mind or is delusional, or he is not able to recollect the things properly. So, in those cases, the doctor will look into the statement that has been recorded by the doctor, and the court would look into the fact that whether the dying declaration could be relied upon or not for forming the basis of conviction. Now, this is also a very important case, Lakshman versus State of Maharashtra. Now, in this case, it was said that where it is proved by the testimony of the magistrate that the declarant was fit to make the statement even without the examination by the doctor, the declaration can be acted upon provided the court ultimately holds the same to be voluntary and truthful. We saw that rule of caution states that a certification by doctor would help the courts to verify the veracity or the reliability of the dying declaration. But if in certain cases the court thinks that there is no need for a certification of a doctor, then that dying declaration could also be relied upon by the courts, and a certification by the doctor is merely a rule of caution. It is not a hard and fast rule that has to be complied with in all the cases. Now, this was everything in relation to the test of reliability in relation to dying declarations. The courts have explained it beautifully, and all the points that we had discussed, they could be summarized as follows. Firstly, dying declaration is admissible in evidence as an exception to the hearsay rule. We have explained it that dying declaration is nothing but hearsay evidence. A person who is on the verge of his death is making certain statements based on his memory or his recollection, but it is given ample values by the court because it is generally believed that a person on the verge of his death would not make untrue statements. Now, Section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act provides some form of codification to dying declarations, and it considers such statements as relevant facts when such statement is made by a person in relation to his death. Now, we also saw that conviction can be made solely on the basis of a reliable dying declaration, and dying declaration stands on the same footing as another piece of evidence, and everything has to be decided by the courts taking into account the relevant facts and circumstances. Further, if there are more than one dying declarations, then the court has to scrutinize all of them and find out if each one of those dying declarations pass the test of being trustworthy. Lastly, we read a bit about the rule of caution, and this rule of caution essentially means that the courts need to ensure that the statement is not a result of tutoring, and the person recording the same must be satisfied that the deceased was in a fit state of mind. So, this was all about reliability of dying declarations. We conclude this episode with this, and thank you very much for watching us, for listening to us, and please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, iTunes, Twitter, LinkedIn, Discord, Telegram, or Facebook. Thank you again.